Well, good evening, everyone. I must have officers on my agenda because they're all hanging around. Nice to see you all back there. That is it? Sometimes you can hear me and sometimes you can't. So welcome to the Village Board meeting of Thursday, September 5th, 2024. Christy, if you would please call the roll.
Trustee Bancole?
Here.
Trustee Prigi? Here. Trustee Husani?
Here.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Here.
Trustee Porter?
Here.
And Trustee Kunkel?
Here.
You're all here, sir.
We're all here for our single meeting this month. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Let me take a look here. Is this on the agenda? Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. We have a motion to accept the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Any changes?
Yes, could I please remove 7A7 from the consent agenda?
Okay.
7.
And I see Mr. Sable is here this evening, and so I would ask that we remove 7A8. He may want to speak to the resolution. I take it that's why you're here. Okay, very good. Anyone else? Christie?
Trustee
Oh.
Prigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
And Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Presentations, Life-Saving Award, Officer Mario Mejia Cardenas. Did I say that even close? Let me, presentation.
Oh, proclamation.
Good evening, everyone. This is 2 meetings in a row that I'm honored to be able to present one of our police officers with a life-saving award. Modern police officers are, they carry more medical equipment and they have more medical training than police officers of the not-so-distant past. And the thinking behind that is not to replace paramedics, but oftentimes, because they're already out on the street, police are the first to arrive at the scene of an emergency. And so over the years here, we've expanded our officer training to include things like officers carrying Narcan, tourniquets, AEDs, that have all directly led to the saving of lives of Hanover Park residents over the past several years. And in addition to that, we train our officers in basic life-saving first aid, and so that is what we're here to recognize tonight with Officer Mario Mejia Cardenas, and I'll briefly read the details of the incident. On August 5th, 2024, at 18:51 hours, Officer Cardenas was flagged down in the area of Walnut Avenue and Hickory Street by the occupants of a vehicle who alerted they were en route to the hospital with a female passenger who was choking on a large prescription pill. Officer Mejia spared no time exiting his patrol car, removing the choking patient from the vehicle, and administering the Heimlich maneuver to the woman. The Heimlich maneuver is commonly known as abdominal thrust with the purpose of creating an artificial cough by pushing on the diaphragm to force air out of the lungs and up through the throat to dislodge blockages. 3 abdominal thrusts by Officer Mejia Cardenas proved to be enough as the woman spit up the large pill and started breathing again. Officer Mejia is being recognized for remaining calm during this rapidly evolving situation in which his actions undoubtedly helped save the life of a Hanover Park resident.
Well done.
And Mayor Craig will present him with a certificate of appreciation as well as a pin that can be worn on his uniform signifying he's received the life-saving award.
Wow. Officer Cardenas, well done. That's, gee, that's a lot of writing in there.
It's what it is.
Oh. We appreciate your work. And do you have family here? I do. So let's come and get a photo together, okay?
Great job, congratulations.
Presentation, annual financial reports.
Yes, good evening. Tonight, one of the auditors are going to present our Village of Hanover Park 2023 financial report. Will be presented by Jamie Wilkie from Lauterbach and Amon.
Thank you, Remy. Good evening. Thank you for having our firm this evening. I am here this evening to present the village's annual audit report. We do have about 210 pages in that document each year. I promise I won't be going through them in detail tonight, but certainly want to provide a high-level overview of the audit results. I certainly want to start by thanking the village staff. Every department really does contribute to the audit, but in particular the finance department. Remy and her team are very heavily involved in the audit process. It is certainly a team effort from start to finish, really spans over about a 6 to 7 month period. So a lot of back and forth and coordinated effort. So I certainly want to thank the opportunity for her hard work, the staff's hard work, and ultimately resulting in a clean audit this evening. I do want to point out a couple of sections of the document as you have some time to digest those 210 pages. In particular, I want to start with page 11 of the document. I will give a few page number references this evening. Page 11 provides what we call the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This is another independent review of the village's audit that is conducted by the Government Finance Officers Association each year. This award is really deemed the highest level financial reporting that any state, local government entity can undertake each year. There's quite a bit of additional transparency related required disclosures for that award, and I'm happy to report that the village earned that award for last year's audit, so you'll see a copy of that. And we have again submitted this year's document to the award program again, and obviously anticipate receipt of that award again for this fiscal year. Immediately after the award, you will find the independent auditor's report on pages 14 through 16 of the document. Obviously really important from our perspective. Current state statute does require that we come in on an annual basis to provide that independent opinion. The village has received what we call an unmodified or clean opinion. That is the highest level opinion that the independent auditors can issue each year. And what that means is that the financial statements as we have presented are materially correct. You'll also see discussion circling around internal controls and the internal control environment for the village as a whole. We are required to test those controls each year, very detailed tests actually, as well as looking at things like policies, procedures, workflows, segregation of duties, all those buzzwords. And I'm happy to report this evening we have no findings related to internal controls and no recommendations related to internal controls. So typically when you have the clean opinion and no findings or recommendations, that is the highest level opinion we can truly issue each year. I do want to point out a couple of key sections within the audit document itself. On pages 20 through 35 of that report, there is an executive summary section that we call the MD&A, or Management Discussion and Analysis. Really only 16 pages here. If you can read those in detail, I think from any board member perspective, that's a great place within the annual audit to get that high-level snapshot of the results for the year. So again, that'll be on pages 16 through 35. I do want to point out we had no recommendations other than some new accounting standards that are changing for local government. That seems to be the case each year, and we will be working with the staff internally to go through those implementations in future fiscal years as they apply. So certainly happy to open it up this evening for any questions that the board might have, but just wanted to reiterate the clean opinion and no findings to report this evening.
Well, thank you. And question to the board, any questions, any thoughts? we're still operating at a very high level, right?
Yes.
And we can applaud Remy and our village manager for that goodwill and the support of all the staff to make sure that all the Ts are crossed and the Is are dotted. And my last call for any questions from the board? Any? Mr. Husseini really understands the money, doesn't he?
All good. Kudos to our finance department.
Thank you for having me this evening.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next is the auditors from Sickets, Bradley Johnson. He's going to present the final Hanover Square LLC 2023 financial report.
Hi, on behalf of Sickich, thank you for inviting us here to present on Hanover Square LLC's December 31st, 2023 financial statements. Like Remy mentioned, these are the last ones. So I just want to give a brief overview of our audit responsibilities and the process, and we'll touch on some highlights of the financial statements and the board report. So our responsibilities as the auditor are to express an opinion over whether the financial statements are materially correct in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles. Our audit provides reasonable assurance that the procedures performed and the evidence obtained is appropriate in the opinion provided that the amounts and the disclosures in the financial statements are materially correct. That audit process is broken down into 3 stages: your preliminary fieldwork or your planning stage, your final fieldwork, which is more of our testing stage, and our reporting stage. So in our preliminary fieldwork, we obtain an understanding of the company's internal controls and identify and assess risks of material misstatement due to error or fraud, and to help design our audit procedures. Then in our final fieldwork, we'll confirm account balances, perform substantive testing, and perform analytical procedures. And then in the reporting is our preparation and issuance of our reports. During this process, we are required to communicate certain matters to you as the board that identify the scope and timing of the audit, the significant risks, and any audit findings. Then when it comes to management's responsibility for the financial statements, it's for the preparation and presentation of these financial statements in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and for the design, implementation, and maintenance of internal control relevant to that preparation of the financial statements. Moving on to our auditor's report. So we are pleased as well to issue an unqualified opinion, which is, like she had mentioned, the highest level of opinion that can be offered, and that means that the financial statements were presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and that we provide a reasonable assurance that they were materially correct. Moving on to kind of highlight the financial statements. In 2023, the village, as the sole member of Hanover Square, executed a purchase and sale agreement for the property, thereby ceasing the company's uses of income-producing assets and also the extinguishment of any liabilities that remained. Just to touch on some of the key parts that's in that report, this one is much smaller than the village's. It's only 13 pages long. But you have your balance sheet, which is going to show your remaining assets for the resources available to meet any remaining obligations. And then with that sale, all the lines of credit were extinguished and paid off.
Sorry, what page of the balance sheet? What page are you on?
This is on, sorry about that.
6?
6, yes, correct.
And just to clarify, this is for Hanover Square
Correct, yes.
LLC's
Correct.
audit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. So the balance
The
sheet is,
last audit.
yes, the last one. Okay, so that's the balance sheet. Moving on to the statement of income on the very next page, on page 7. So this is going to go over your revenues and your expenses to show that you are positive covering yourself during the year, and the majority of that revenue is earned from the fixed monthly rental payments and any common area maintenance that goes on in the property. And then, consistent with the prior year, there's about 7 units vacant, or about 26,000 square feet, so that's very similar to last year. Then on page 8, we have the statement of cash flows, which shows your cash inflows and outflows for the year. As you can see, the cash flow from operations was positive. And then there was an overall decrease in cash, and that is mostly driven by the distributions that were made with the sale taking place. After the statements comes the notes, which just kind of highlight individually important items that are contained in more detail on the balance sheet and the statement of income. Biggest key of which, it details information about the sale, the distribution of those assets, and the extinguishment of liabilities back to the village. Moving on, after that, we have our board report. And starting on page 2 of the board report, goes through our required communications that's due at the conclusion of the audit. There were no new accounting principles enacted this year or any changes to any current policies. Moving forward to page 5, this displays any adjusting journal entries that we had during the year. We had 2 material audit adjustments required for the sale, and just making sure that that was all done correctly and how it needed to flow to distribute everything back to the village. On the following page after that, we have our summary of uncorrected misstatements, which professional standards require us to accumulate any misstatements that were identified that were uncorrected by management that are deemed more than trivial. That one adjustment for that is the recording of 2024 services in 2023, and that was to help kind of match up things to have the closure this year. So that's what that is for. And then we have our management letter starting on page 7, where this details any internal control deficiencies identified during the audit. And this is for, we consider internal controls just for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the financial statements, not to have an opinion over the effectiveness of internal controls. So we did identify a material weakness this year that is just due to the material audit adjustments for the sale. And standards require us, when we have a material audit adjustment, that then we have a material weakness for that. So that's what that is for. Any questions over anything?
Okay. Any questions from the board?
Thank you very much.
Hearing none?
Yep, thank you guys for your time today.
Yeah, well, thank you. It sounds strange to say last audit, but we did close the shopping and sold the shopping center, so one less audit a year. Next, I have Hispanic Heritage Month, which I'm pleased to read, and hope I got the right one here. Oh, there it is. Whereas the Village of Hanover Park is pleased to join the nation in honoring the many Americans of Hispanic descent who have made outstanding contributions to our village, state, and country as we celebrate National Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas the diverse backgrounds of the Hispanic American community, its dedication to faith and family, its strong belief in the American dream, along with the rich culture traditions that have made a remarkable impact on our society. And whereas we also recognize the positive impact that Hispanic Americans have had upon the political, social, and economic development of our community, and honor the achievements people of Hispanic descent have had all areas of endeavor, including public service, business and industry, science and technology, education, sports, and the arts. Whereas Hispanic Americans continue to demonstrate tremendous perseverance that has enabled them to realize many accomplishments and find continued success through their hard work and dedication. And whereas as a result of this love and dedication to our community, Hispanic Americans have made our village, state, and nation a better place for people of all cultural backgrounds. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Rodney S. Craig, President of the Village of Hanover Park, hereby proclaim the month of September 15th, 2024 through October 15th, 2024 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the Village of Hanover Park. I extend our appreciation to members of the Hispanic community during the special observance. I will share this with our fine trustee to my left, Lisa. Thank you. And proclamation, National Preparedness Month. Does this fall to the fire department? It can? Very good. Whereas the Village of Hanover Park is committed to increasing public awareness about emergency management preparedness, and whereas September is deemed National Preparedness Month as part of the READY campaign sponsored by the Department of Homeland Security, which is to increase public awareness about emergency preparedness. And whereas the 2024 theme will focus on Asian American, Native Hawaiian, and Pacific Islander communities, and why it is important for this diverse community to prepare for disasters and build resilience before disaster strikes. Whereas the READY campaign is designed to educate and empower Americans to prepare for and respond to emergencies including national disasters and potential terrorist attacks. The goal of the campaign is to get the public involved and ultimately to increase the level of basic preparedness across the nation. Now therefore I, Rod Craig, President of the Village of Hanover Park, call upon citizens of the Village of Hanover Park to observe September 2024 as National Preparedness Month in the Village of Hanover Park. I encourage all residents to educate themselves and to take steps to prepare themselves in the case of an emergency. Dated this 5th day of September 24. We have this for you, Chief, and when I first read about national preparedness, my mind went to the Boy Scouts right away. What a short memory. But anyway, thank you to all those that pitched forward, and many of us have been involved in that for many years. So thank you all. Town Hall session, we have Ed Sable. Pardon me?
You want to wait for the agenda item?
What about it? Impact? Okay, 7, 8. Yeah, we pulled, if you want to wait till the, Ed, if you want to wait till the agenda item,
That's fine.
is that okay? Yeah, then we can have some dialogue, otherwise you speak
pulled it.
and leave.
I don't think that one was full. It was. Oh, yeah.
I pulled 7A8.
7A, 7A7 and 7A8 were pulled, correct.
All right, moving on, Village President's report. Last Friday, I had an interesting and encouraging walkthrough at Safari Springs with our village clerk. And I want to thank you for that time together with their superintendent. And I think I was encouraged by the outcome. I was encouraged by the fact they know what they need to do, and they're begging a little patience. So they're not running and hiding. So that, I thought, was a good walkthrough. And thank you to our village clerk for that time. And moving on, last Saturday, had a marvelous parade in Schaumburg, and I think half of Hanover Park was out there. We ran out of candy, and I'll be seeking a sponsor, and he already knows who that is. Oh.
Yes.
So, thank you very much, and I do appreciate that. So, I have coming up the Illinois Municipal League Board meeting. I'll be involved with that. Brad Cole has some suggestions for the, moving forward on seeking the appropriate dollars from our legislature. We haven't had much luck the last few years, so I'll be in the middle of that debate and looking forward to it. I don't want to steal Herb Porter's thunder, but he will address being at the IML at your time. You can speak to your recognition.
At the IML?
Yeah, you know, the sister city.
Oh, okay. Oh, come.
I'll let Herb speak to the sister
Oh,
city.
okay, yeah.
That's his thing. All right, so with that, moving on to approve the minutes. Oh. Moved by ominous, how do we say? Approved by ominous vote items on the consent agenda.
7A1 through 7A6 and 7A9.
So moved. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
And Trustee Frigie?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, 787, motion to approve the bid from Misfits Construction Company to construct a dumpster enclosure and toter corral at the Hanover Park Sports Complex for $67,600 and authorize the village manager to execute the necessary documents. And we have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second, and I'm encouraged to see this. It's been a while that we've been trying to clean that up by constructing around the toters and the outhouses, or whatever you call them. In the Scouts, we used to call them kaibos. So we have some concerns, some questions, and we're open to hear what those are. Any board member questions? Yasmin? Pardon me? Do we have someone here from the?
No,
Miss-
7A8. Oh, 7A7. Okay. So we don't have anyone here.
Is there anyone here from Misfits? Yeah. Oh, okay. Would you like to step up to the microphone? We may have some questions, and thank you for coming on short notice.
No problem.
Thank you. Questions?
Good.
Are you the owner?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize. You're Mr. Thomas?
Yes.
Okay. So thank you so much for being here tonight. We did just have a few questions. I know you haven't worked with the village before, and so this would be a new partnership. So could you talk a little bit more about this project and where you've done this particular project and any other surrounding communities or things of that nature?
Yeah, we've done plenty of jobs. We actually worked for the Hanover Park District in Safari Springs. We redid all the netting in there, maybe 4 years ago.
Oh, the netting?
Yeah,
Around the trees
yeah.
or bushes?
around the whole park, all that,
Okay.
the netting with the
For
ropes.
safety.
Yeah. We've done a job similar to this in the Park District with some fencing on some retaining wall. Right now, we're doing some guardrails down in Downers Grove on some bridges. Yes, we've done several of these projects like this.
Okay, so you've worked in Tinley Park and Downers Grove
Correct.
with this specific project, this dumpster enclosure and Totter Corral?
With fencing, yeah, fencing and a pad, yes.
Okay. Any reasoning why the first time around, when in 2023, the bid came in at a different cost that it's coming in now in 2024?
I wasn't familiar with that bid.
You weren't familiar, okay, so you were not the 2023 bid?
No.
That's correct, it was a different bidder.
Okay. My mistake. Do you operate your business with a website so that potential clients or those that are interested in your services are able to find you?
Yeah, currently our website's down for maintenance. We were hacked. So GoDaddy's working on getting us back up and running.
Okay. And when do you anticipate that coming back up?
Shortly. It's kind of in GoDaddy's hands.
Okay, so it's in another company's hands?
Yes,
Okay,
the web host.
okay, okay. Where is your company located?
Chicago, Illinois.
Chicago, Illinois. Anywhere in particular within the
Downtown.
city of Chicago?
Downtown?
You're located downtown?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been there?
Downtown, 10 years.
Okay. And then with your work, with those that you hire, do you subcontract for
No,
these
we
projects?
perform all the
or-
work in-house.
All the work is done in-house?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, I think those might be my questions. I can pass the baton to others that might have questions. Thank you.
Did I hear you say you try and work with the Park District in Hanover Park?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I think we were there 4 or 5 years ago.
4 or 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've not heard any complaints about their work, so, okay. Others? No. Okay, anybody else? Any other thoughts? I'm anxious to get this done.
Thank you.
I hate looking at those outhouses
Thank you.
and the toters that are out there. It's been a couple years overdue, so. We are balking at the level, the cost of the bids for certain, and thank you for coming out tonight. And any other questions? Last call? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
No.
Trustee Prigi?
Yes.
And Trustee Husani?
Thank you. All right, moving on, and thank you for coming out. 7A8, and move to pass a resolution approving Sable's subdivision, 6900 Central Avenue. And since Mr. Sable is here,
6900 Center Avenue.
what did I say?
I don't know, not that.
It's Central.
Oh, I'm like, I don't know.
I know where you live, but, you know, what the heck?
Come on up.
Ever since we've lived here, people call it Central Avenue. I said, no, it's Center Avenue.
Center Avenue.
And it's funny because we have a house in Wisconsin, Central Boulevard.
So this is concerning,
Ed, step up to the mic.
Yeah, come on up.
Sure.
this is concerning impact fees.
Yes.
And I'd like Bernie to give us a background on impact fees.
Well, first, what's his request?
Okay, well, first of all, Alex called me a couple weeks ago because I'm selling this property. And he said that I needed to pay an impact fee. I said, what's that? So anyway, I came up here to the village, you know, to pay it. And when I got here, I talked to Alex about it. And Alex said, well, what it is it's a fee based on a house that's going to be built on a property. I said, well, isn't that kind of putting the cart before the horse? Because I have no idea what kind of house is going to be built on a property. Why would I be paying an impact fee on something I don't even know what's going to be built? And he said, well, that's the way the ordinance is. So my question is that why is this fee being charged to the seller of the property, not the person purchasing the property or building a home on the property? Because I have no idea what kind of house is built on it. Alex told me that it's based on a 3-bedroom house. Well, I had the property sold last year. The guy was going to build a 4-bedroom house on it, which would mean the village isn't collecting enough money for the impact fee. So it would be better to collect the impact fee after the property is sold to whoever's going to build a house on it, based on whatever house is going to be built on it. Alex told me I'd have to come to the board and request a refund of the fee if at all possible. So that's why I'm here, basically. But I don't understand paying this impact fee for something that I have no idea what's going to be built on it.
Okay, Bernie, a little background.
Sure. So the village has an ordinance. The ordinance requires a subdivider, who are a subdivider, who subdivides residential property, who generates students for school, people that use the park district, it requires them to pay an impact fee that their development will have on the school district, on the park district. It's part of the subdivision process in our ordinance. Prior to probably 1960s, there wasn't such a thing. And the trigger that allowed it to exist was the notion that as part of the subdivision ordinance, you can require an impact fee for whatever you have a nexus to for that fee. So in this case, residential property, he has an existing house on his property, and he's creating an additional lot. The additional lot is the only parcel of his property that is affected by this subdivision, and therefore that's the only one that can have a new house on it. There is no provision for the seller's buyer to pay the fee. So if he were to sell that lot and that person hold that lot for a number of years, come in for a building permit, there's no one here that knows anything about whether or not a fee was paid when the subdivision occurred, because that's the trigger for paying the subdivision fee. Secondly, this ordinance has been in effect for probably 30 years, 40 years. Also, when your preliminary plat was approved, which was more than 2 weeks ago, the board had a provision in there that basically said you didn't have to pay the fee on your existing house, but you do have to pay the fee on your lot. That was in that approval of your preliminary plat. So as far as the village is concerned, the ordinances of the village require that it be paid when you subdivide. When your preliminary plat was approved, the board had a provision in there that said you didn't have to pay it for your existing house, but you had to pay it for the new lot. And finally, if you don't pay it, there's a pretty good chance it'll never be paid.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that if it's part of the ordinance now,
It's part of the ordinance for the last 30 years.
right, that's fine. But if you change the ordinance to where that fee had to be paid once the house is going to be built there, it would make more sense, because a 4-bedroom house would collect more money than a 3-bedroom house.
So you've
According to what Alex
already
was-
paid the fee for a 3-bedroom house.
Right.
Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. So the fee has been paid, the school districts can be satisfied, the park district, because that money goes to the school district.
Right, I understand.
The money goes to the park district, so they can be satisfied, and there will never be an issue as to whether or not in the future the fee will be collected. There is no ordinance now specifying that it be paid at a different time. That's number one. Number two, in this state, the trigger that's approved by the courts is the subdivision of the property. So everybody who has ever subdivided anything in this town for residential use has to pay the fee when they subdivide, regardless of whether anything's built there right away, regardless of whether it'll be a 3-bedroom, 4-bedroom, or 2-bedroom. The subdivider is responsible for providing to the village what is likely to be built on his property, and that is what is to be paid to the village. So,
Right,
so
but-
if you say it's a 4-bedroom house, maybe you can pay for a 4-bedroom house. If it's a 3-bedroom house, and you pay for a 3-bedroom house. So I would advise this board not to waive that fee for you as a subdivider.
But like I said, you're shorting yourself on the fees if you change the ordinance to collect the
village is
fee
not
when the house is
shorting
being
itself
built on it
because there's a good
versus when the
likelihood
property is
that
sold.
it will never be collected if you don't pay it.
Why do you say it would never be collected? It was part of the ordinance. It was something that would have to be collected.
You pay it, not
Wait.
that a subsequent person who comes in for a building permit.
But you're saying that you would have no way of knowing whether or not it ever got collected. But you would have a way of knowing whether or not it got collected, because if you change the ordinance to where it gets paid when the house is being built on it, based on what type of house is being built on it, it'd be based on how much money you get out of it. And you would know, based on the ordinance, that the fee would have to be paid when the house is being built, not when the property is sold. So, I mean, there is a way of knowing that the impact fee is paid.
But your subdivision is current.
I know
It's
that.
not in the future.
I know that.
So
But
what is there to waive?
what I'm saying is that a house to be built will be in the future, not tomorrow, you know, and I'm not building a house on the property, so I have no clue of what kind of house is gonna be built there. You know, the village doesn't know what kind of house is gonna be built there until somebody actually buys the property and goes to build a house on it. Like I said, if they build a 4-bedroom house, you get more money out of it.
I don't know whether we do or we don't.
I don't either, because I don't know what's gonna be built on it. But I'm just saying, you do have a way of knowing whether or not that impact fee is collected, whether it be collected now or collected when the house is built.
The board has no idea whether it'll be collected in the future or not.
Yeah,
We seek to be consistent over the years with collecting it from the subdivider, and in this case, that it's you. So I don't recommend changing that. You've already paid it. I appreciate the fact you would like us to waive it. I don't know that I have it in my heart to waive fees that go right to the school and the park district. They could use those fees. So this is our standard for collecting. So I hope you can appreciate where we're at today.
yeah, I do.
Okay.
You know, I understand that.
Yeah.
But,
okay.
you know, I'm just saying that I don't understand why the ordinance couldn't be changed to collect it when the house is going to be built, not when the property is sold, because it doesn't make sense. It's like putting a cart before the horse.
Well, over the years, they decided over 30 years ago that this is the way to make sense, and we know the fees have been collected, so.
Okay.
Any board member?
All I can do is ask.
Any comments from the board?
Yeah.
Here?
I appreciate the dilemma that you're in, Ed, with the fees. The ordinance, as it is written, you know, is in effect, but I do find some rationale in your thought about who should pay an impact fee. We can't change an ordinance at this setting of the board meeting.
Right, I understand
But I think it's an interesting topic for discussion for the future, to see something that was written 30 years ago, is it still applicable to today's times and today's situation?
Right.
And that's certainly something that I would say that, you know, we can have a discussion amongst the board members to see if there's an appetite for revisiting that. But as it stands now, you know, the ordinance is what it is, and it's going to go to the school districts and the park districts. But you raise an interesting point, and I think that, you know, like I said, there may be an appetite for the board to have a future discussion about, you know, is it still relevant? And it may be that it still is, but I think it warrants a discussion. But nothing is going to assist you in,
Oh, I know,
you know,
I
in
know.
this
I
situation
didn't,
this evening, unfortunately.
yeah, I didn't think it would change anything, but
Yeah.
all I can do is ask.
Okay. Well, Ed, thanks for coming in tonight.
Okay, thank you very much for hearing me.
Okay.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Good night.
With that, Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Gutierrez? Yes. Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Prigi?
Yes.
And Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good discussion. 7, 8, 10, move to approve warrant 905-2024 in the amount of $2,832,591.27.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Second,
Yes.
any discussion? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Gutierrez? Yes. Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Prigi?
Yes.
And Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Thank you. 7, 8, 11, move to approve warrant paid in advance, 8/10/2024 through 8/30/2024 in the amount of $923,775.05.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Prigi?
Yes.
Trustee Husani? And trustee Gutierrez.
Yes.
Thank you. 7812, approve July 2024 P cards in the amount of $23,405.48.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Christie, call the roll.
Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Frigie?
Yes.
Trustee Husani?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
And trustee Porter.
Yes.
Thank you. 8, village managers report. Juliana?
No report, Mayor, other than we have closed session at the end of the meeting.
Okey-doke. Village clerk's report. Christie?
I just want a huge shout out to the staff for the summer soiree. Huge success and turnout. Thank you for a fun event. I look forward to it again next year. Just want to, after hours, business after hours on September 17th. So if anybody's available, come join us from 5 to 7 p.m. in Ontaриовille, downtown Plaza. Come join us. And just want to echo what Mayor said with our meeting with Steve Bissett over at Safari Springs, and them just updating the pool, having a plan coming for the next couple of years. I spoke to them about kind of getting our boards back together. They're kind of getting stuff together maybe in the new year sometime. Just kind of meet up and touch base with them again, how we did a couple years ago. So it was a great meeting. Looking forward to the future.
So, since you mentioned Steve Bissett, and I should have mentioned it earlier, tonight, they are in Ranger Park having some outreach to the neighborhood about improving Ranger Park, and they've received some grant money from Senator Villa, and so I'll certainly applaud that, and I send her a thank you in appreciation. The trustee Bernie?
Yeah, I have no report, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee reports, Yasmin? Trustee Bancole?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. So there are some leaders in DuPage County that have come together and created a Martin Luther King Advisory Committee, and this is the same group that put on the MLK breakfast in January. And so once a month they come together and do things in the spirit of Martin Luther King, and they take actions that kind of modeled the essence of his leadership. And so earlier today I was able to attend one of their meetings where we heard from a pastor who, I guess as a child, was actually baptized by Martin Luther King, and he just kind of talked about his life. But I was just really moved by these leaders who just took it upon themselves to kind of do this in DuPage County, and was really honored to be invited to participate in their convening. I also wanted to thank our staff for hosting the summer soiree. I was able to attend. It was a really fun event, and I know that these events take a lot of work to put on, so thank you. Also wanted to remind our residents that the Park District is having their Fall Fest event this Saturday. Should be a good time. There'll be lots of activities and family friendly things to do. And last but not least, I don't want to steal his thunder, but I wanted to say thank you to Trustee Syed Husseini. We started this journey together, and you've really become like a brother to me, and the village of Hanover Park is lucky to have you, and has really been lucky to have your leadership and your commitment and your smarts and your fiery attitude. Thank you so much for always being a friend, being a leader, and for caring for the well-being of our residents. Thank you.
Trustee Bancole, you're making it much more difficult.
Well said, thank you.
That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Ricky? Wow.
No report.
Thank you. Trustee Husseini?
Oh my God.
Matter of, buddy.
Should have had Trustee Bancole go last. and I will be moving out of town end of this month. So this will be my last board meeting. And I don't take this lightly. With full responsibility that I'm an elected official, and I really love the community that I live in. And 21 years I spent in Hanover Park. So for me, it's the toughest decision. But whenever there is a debate at home, the family wins and I lose. Maybe in the election I win, but with the family I lose. So there was a hard set on something that is out of town, and I'm kind of going with the flow. I'm just thankful for the opportunity that I got. I'm really thankful for the things that we have done together as a board, the difference that we have made in the community, the projects that we have completed together, most recently the fire station, all the projects that we have done with the development and everything else. I'm so proud of things that happen here and things that we make it happen as a board and staff that executes it to their best knowledge and to impact the whole community of Hanover Park. And I will always love this community and always be part of me no matter where I go. And you already know that Mayor has put me in charge for the parade candy. I will be the sponsor because I'm sick and tired of ducking in when the candy is over. I don't want the kids to start throwing something at me, like, guys, you guys are leaving, but no candy. So you know what, I'll sponsor it in going forward. And that will be, I will be connected. But I know Mayor will get me included in some way or the other. He's already making calls to the community that I'm going into. I don't know why he worries about me so much, but he does. He just want to make me engaged in the community, and I love to do that. So thank you, Mayor, for everything that you do. Trustee Bengoli is just, you should have been last. I'm going to tell you, it made me so much more emotional that I had things to say that I'm forgetting and I can't say it. When we were running elections too, and some event that we had to go in for an interview one after another, and this is the first time I met you, and I saw that fire, that you really want to do something for the community. And I ran to the parking lot and I met you and you were like, why are you meeting me out of your position? I didn't care. I didn't care. I'm like, you know what, you did a good job, you did a good job. Regardless of what opposition, we all work for the Hanover Park community. So since that day to now to the future that holds, that I'm just leaving the town, come on, I'll be here and we'll be talking. Trustee Porter, I learned so much from you, and thank you for always being that guidance and always not be afraid to tell me what's right, what's wrong. And I appreciate every time you have said and directed me on things. So thank you. Thank you, Bob, for being my neighbor for 2 years, and you got sick and tired and moved over there. So it's okay, but I still love you. So thank you. Christy, you're the life of the party. Wherever the party is, Christy has to accomplish that, and we always love you for everything that you do for the town. Since you have taken over the charge, there's so much difference and so much wide in the community. So thank you for everything that you have done. I can't forget the time we were running together and we didn't know what we were getting into, and then to have Mayor lead us, well, that was another level. Like, where are we actually going? He says jump and he says how high, and that's it. We just jump. So thank you for being a part of that process and part of the community, that what you do for the community. Trustee Gutierrez, and you have been in the journey with election to now and be my neighbor. I think I went against Mayor and fought for visiting together. Right? I cannot give up that seat, and I know he was pissed and didn't talk to me for a few days, but guess what? He's a friend. It's okay. He will get over it, but I can't get over Trustee Gutierrez leaving my site. Thank you.
You weren't alone.
Thank you. Trustee Gunkel, thank you so much for everything that you have taught me to be a treasurer for the party that we were running. So thank you for guidance every step of the way to run. that campaign and everything else. So thank you for all the time for the guidance that you have provided. Bernie, thank you for the legal advices that you have provided. I always appreciate, even today, I went back there, I'm like, Bernie, I'm leaving, but I just didn't give it a resignation yet. Can I say something? I want to say something. I was like, of course you can. Well, I feel that confidence once you give it okay, that I can talk about it with open heart. So thank you, Mayor. I don't have words to thank you, actually. So it's just, there's so much that you have done, from putting me as a development commission before even you thought about running me as a trustee in elections. But I wouldn't have done that if you asked me from the get-go. But you knew how to convince me, so you put me in the committee and got me a taste of what happens and what's the next level, and then you got me there. So you have that leadership, and you know where to place people and how we will be successful, even though I didn't have that confidence and you did. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I hope you feel the same today, but I hope I made you proud. But staff, thank you so much for everything that you have put up with me, the questions that I asked, and everything else. Shubhra, Development Commission and Economic Development, and you work so hard, and I have seen every bit of the effort that you put in to run the community and do the way correctly they want to. So I really want to thank you for what you do. TJ, thank you for making me part of your day one day, and then we went out and did, snow plow and whatever, So thank you for showing me what happens in public work. And every time you do a presentation and how details that you go into, and then you have answers to questions that you put forward. Trustee Full, I'm sorry, well, this is where I'm losing it. Chief Force, thank you for all you do, and how happy you were for the fire station. I've seen you just a few weeks ago, and what you put in the community, and how you get excited about things happening in Hanover Park. So thank you for everything that you do for Hanover Park. It's your lives to save other lives. Chief Johnson, thank you so much. You were standing up when I was losing the hope. When things happened, a discrimination event that happened, you helped me and my family. And I can never forget that. That you stood by and you made sure that get never repeated. And it was an honor to witness that and to go through that process to understand what minorities go through, and there has to be policing to make sure we don't get discriminated. So thank you for doing that. Remy, I always look at you to smile. I know when I say something, you smile, and you always, I need to hire you for a crash course. How do you make the auditors say good things about you? My auditors don't say good things about me. They don't. I need to hire you just as a crash course, 2 hours. So thank you, Remy, for what you do for the village. It speaks volumes when the auditor comes and says, we're giving you a certificate. And what a good job that you have done. So thank you. Barry, thank you for, we have CIDC, we have worked in the community together, and the programs that you put together, and you work with the communities to make sure we put events that are meaningful for the community. So thank you. Jay, thank you for helping me for every time I have an issue with the laptop and a phone and any technology. So thank you so much. Juliana, again, I have no words like I have no words for mayor. Things that you will do for the community and what you put up with and everything that you get scrutinized every time you make a decision, but you make a decision for the best of the community and keeping that in mind. And we are here to make sure that happens, but you do that before you even get to us. So thank you for doing all that scrutinizing, all that work that you put together, running all the departments and keeping a smile on your face. And you do that wonderfully. So thank you, Juliana. Both the committees that I recently served, Community Economic Development and Development Commission, Tom is here, thank you. And you sit here for every board meeting I don't know why, but you are a big part of the community, and that's why we run as a community, because you are the speaker of that. So thank you for every time being here. God always had a blessing on me that I should be in public works and make sure I'm serving somewhere. I didn't even know this. Just 2 days ago, I got an email saying, congratulations, you will be part of Illinois Association of Community Care Program Home Care Provider. It's a big name. Its acronym is IACCPHB. That acronym needs an acronym, but this organization actually works with legislators, senators, and Congress to make sure that home care agencies get paid on time and home care agencies get contracted on time. So it's kind of related to my work, but it's a non-for-profit organization that Illinois Department on Aging Director is also part of the board. So I'm honored to serve on that board. Today I got installed there this morning. And I'm giving resignation, like really, you know, God has some plans for me that I should never be out and always be serving something. So, but I am on several non-for-profit boards as well that I'm happy to serve. But I know Hanover Park will have a lot of success ahead of them. There is leaders here that are concerned leaders and making things happen in the community. Thank you for all you do. I'm not giving my resignation yet, end of this month, okay? So don't think I'm gonna get up and leave today. But I wanted to say this word because this is the last time I'll be sitting here and looking at it. And just, I totally understand the responsibility, and it's very, very hard for me to do this, but it's time that I should. It's only like 4, 5, 6 months left. I wish I complete the term. I only can wish, but the law is that way, or the bylaws is that way, or whatever that is. It's just that an elected official cannot be serving the board while out of town. So I understand that, and I follow the protocol. But thank you, everybody.
Trustee, it's been an honor to serve with you. And I know you always hear from me, family comes first. And that's the case here. And you take care of your family and life is good. So thank you, and I hope your family is watching tonight because your words were encouraging, articulate, and caring about the people of Hanover Park. So thank you very much for your time. Trustee Kunkel. What?
Well, I'm next. Oh, okay. I thought Lisa was next. I thought Lisa's next.
Huh? Oh, I jumped over Lisa. How did I do that? Trustee Gutierrez, please.
Yes. So today's a very sad day for me. My partner in crime is leaving the dais. We walked together. We talk about the board meetings. And what's interesting is that I'm a Latina born in Chicago of Christian faith, and you're an Indian of Muslim faith, and I've never met someone with as much faith as I have, and I know that both of us know that God has our future in his hands. And so while it is a sad day for me, I just want to thank you for the memories, especially the parade memories. Because this guy in the parade, y'all, I'm over there hitting everybody in the head with the lollipop, right? And I'm just screaming and getting all enthusiastic about it. And I'm looking for my partner in crime. And where is he? He's ducking down, eating the candy I keep getting.
Well, see, that's why we didn't have enough.
That's why we don't have candy, y'all. And then he gets sick because he's eating all that candy. So, but it's been, oh yeah, and then when we're knocking on doors, he's sitting in my car eating all my chocolate. So, Porter knows about that, right? I was like, what are you doing?
You so be a driver without telling me I was a driver. I have to get paid somehow. Candy was a payment.
So we've had so many good conversations, so many great memories. And as people of color, we've been able to come together for this board and represent our constituents well. And I'm in social services, I'm ethics of care, and he's ethics of responsibility and finance. And I think we made just such a good team, and that's why, you know, he fought to sit next to me as much as I fought to sit next to Bernie. So,
That was not me. I thought it was.
well, I really just wanted to sit next to Bernie. So, but I wish you well. You know where I live. You have my phone number. I will continue to call you with cases, and thank you so much, and thank you to your family for allowing me to serve. So thank you. CIDC is celebrating Hispanic Heritage Month on September 27th. And Barry, you're going to kill me, but I'm going to be out of town. It's my anniversary weekend, 22 years, so family comes first, so I will be out. But this is a great event, and they're hosting it at the Park District as we continue to work with the Park District. We have speakers, we have dancers. I'm gonna miss the food. This is gonna be tough. So it's really exciting. They've been planning this for months. For months they've been planning on this, and kudos to Valeria and Zach and the entire CIDC committee that's putting this forward. And I hope y'all can make it on September 27th, because I know some of you couldn't make it to our luau, but this is equally as interesting, plus the food, you guys, so I hope you make it. The Historic Committee is working on a coloring book, and I think I mentioned this before, so we're really excited about that. And we also met the new owner of what used to be the Arts and Music Building, and I'm excited for what's happening there. Kind of like a spa, salon, and we have ideas because next year that building is going to celebrate about 100 years. So we've got ideas. I'm not going to say anything yet. But we've got ideas of what's going to happen there. So we're very excited about that. And our CIDC, our Historic Committee members are also working with members of the Historic Committee in Bartlett. Maybe we can work on maybe obtaining some items that are
They got
important.
half our stuff.
Yeah, I would try not to accuse anybody, but just maybe we can acquire or copy some of the items that are of importance to us as well. And then the other thing I just had, oh yeah, so POC was selected among 80 nonprofits in the area. This is exciting and scary, to host legal clinics. And so right now in Chicago, newcomers to the area, we want them working. So as soon as they come in, they go to these really big legal clinics where we all volunteer to represent them in pro se, or represent them or do pro se and help them get their work authorization documents so that they can work in Illinois. And I mean, there's over 47,000 newcomers since August of 2022. So we want them working in Illinois. And the fact is 90% of them settle outside of Chicago into suburban Cook County, and that's us. So we were selected to host these big clinics. So we're working with Ascension to hold these. That's going to bring a lot of traffic to this area on Fridays, every Friday. And so we're hoping to host that, just letting our police department know in case they want to go by to the Ascension building on Fridays in October, November, all the way through, like for a year. We're going to be hosting immigration clinics for free, and we've got about 10 other nonprofits coming in with their attorneys doing this because we want people to work. So I'm very excited about that. And then finally, I just have one question. I was really excited because today I saw people playing at the sports complex, by the fields, but it's kind of been empty during the year. So do we know what's happening, like fall ball, or there's not as much activity in the field as in the past? Does anybody know?
Work in progress?
Well, it's a break between baseball and football. Soccer will pick up soon.
So the sports, the fields that we fixed, Barrington and the sports complex, right?
Yeah.
So
So there's football going on right now.
the baseball association that was in place before disbanded, changed, they have a new organization, so we're going through the process of drafting an agreement between them, and that will come to the board. We're hoping that will come to the board at the beginning of October, but they are a different organization than was there before, so we needed to go through that process, as well as the park district. We're working on developing a partnership, and there's an agreement that's been drafted so that we can bring in tournaments on those fields as well.
Okay, that's really exciting, because we worked really hard on those, and we want to see activities there.
And that
it's-
agreement should hopefully come in October as well.
Okay, that's awesome, because it's been kind of empty, and it was my husband who brought it up. He's like, so what was the point of fixing that? And I'm like, wait a minute, where is everybody? So that's very exciting to hear. We look forward to that in October. And that's it for me.
Thank you. I couldn't agree more. Boy, I missed the punch. Trustee Porter?
Thank you. I want to start off by talking about my brother Syed down there, who very conveniently threw his family under the bus for his reason for being down. But seriously, Syed, it's been a pleasure working with you.
You don't know my family. I'll take you home one day. It's been a real pleasure and an honor to work with you as we have tried to lead and to guide in the best interest of our residents. You bring a perspective to the board that is going to be greatly missed, and I just appreciate your ability to just remain level-headed and calm throughout everything, and then your questions are so incisive when you do bring them, so we're going to miss that. And also your driving when we're out campaigning. The stories we can tell about that, but we won't do that. All right, half of them you can share here.
Yeah. But yeah, you're an excellent, outstanding citizen of Hanover Park. And like I said, it's been a real honor to share this dais with you these last 4 years now, I think it's been. Yeah, that you served with us. So best of luck to you. I know wherever you go, as you've already said, God has a plan for you. And this is just the beginning of the next phase of your journey, you know. So I wish you all the best as you move forward into this next phase of your journey. I love you, man.
Thank you.
A couple things that I wanted to highlight. The township has a number of interesting events that are coming up that I want to bring to the attention of our residents and of my fellow trustees. Food Truck Festival will be taking place on 9/19. That is a great event. They have a number of great food trucks, music, games for the kids. It's a real family affair, and I think it's something that anyone who has an opportunity to go out to that will certainly have a great time. You know, we have a great township. They do so many great things for our community. They've been consistently voted the #1 township in the state, and there's a reason for that, because they are so active and so involved in putting forth events and opportunities for our residents. Another thing that they have coming up is a community health and wellness fair on 9/12, where they will be doing all types of screening, vision, hearing, diabetes, blood pressure. They'll have petting zoo things for the kids. It's over at the senior center over on Route 59 in Bartlett. A great event I've attended in the past, and they just do a really good job. So if you know anyone who would like to take advantage of some of those screenings and the different things that they do, there's no charge, and it's just an excellent way to stay on top of your health issues. And those screenings can be life-saving. So pass the word and let your friends and neighbors know about it. I serve on the governing board for the Alignment for Collaborative Education, and they're having their student expo on 9/25 at the Now Center, and this will involve 26th, who will come and be exposed to a number of job opportunities, career opportunities, employers, different career paths that will be available to them, that they'll be able to go in and speak to people. They'll actually be recruiters that are actually on site. It's a wonderful event. It is very well attended by U46. And so if you have any students in U46 that are juniors or seniors, I would recommend that you have them contact their school counselors and find out about it, because there will be trips made from basically all of the high schools in U46 will be participating and sending over groups of students to participate in this event. It's a wonderful event. I think this is about the 5th year that they've had this, and they're doing a really good job of utilizing the Now Center, which is an excellent venue for doing this. So, you know, the village is a prime sponsor of Alignment for Collaborative Education. At the last meeting, we had some students here that were part of the intern program. And so Alignment does a lot to benefit our residents, and they're very appreciative of the grants that we give them, and I'm very proud to be a part of this village that sees the value in an organization like that, and providing money so that they can continue to serve our community. On the 19th, at the IML, Sister Cities will receive for the second year in a row, the Sister Cities of the Year award. And so we're very humbled by that. They're recognizing our Juneteenth and Black History Month events that we put on annually as an example of community involvement. So at the luncheon at the IML on Saturday, we will be receiving that award. And then on a sadder note, I'm wearing orange out of respect and in reference to the 4 innocent lives that were lost in the recent shooting in Georgia by a teenage shooter who somehow had access to a legally purchased weapon, an AR-15 style weapon, went into the school, killed 2 students and 2 brave teachers that were massacred by that. I think, you know, I don't know what it's going to take for this nation to come to a realization that something must be done to promote common sense gun safety laws in our nation. I'm proud of the Biden-Harris administration that for the first time in 30 years they were able to pass some meaningful legislation as it relates to gun safety, but we have not gone far enough because these shootings keep happening. And you know, we've got to be better. We got to do better. I'm still, the hair on the back of my neck raises every time I drive past Range USA on Lake Street, because I believe that we're complicit in some of these indirectly, in that we are selling these firearms to our community at large. And it hasn't struck us, and there have been no relationship between anything that's been sold at that establishment with any types of acts of violence. But I think that it's still putting those weapons into, and even though they're not selling the AR-15s, because Illinois, thank God, has an ordinance that prohibits that, but we're still putting guns in the hands of people who should never be allowed to have guns. There are too many guns, and even though they're purchased legally and their Second Amendment rights, I think at some point there needs to be some common sense rights. There needs to be a common sense amendment where we just look at it. No other civilized nation in the world has the amount of shootings that we do. They have mental illness in all of these other nations. They play video games, they listen to rap music, they do all of that in all of these other nations. but yet no one has the type of mass shootings that we do. And it should be an embarrassment to every American that we stand here underneath this grand flag, the red, white, and blue, but yet we've allowed guns to become the #1 cause of death for children in the United States. And it sickens me. And for everyone who has a child that's in elementary school, a child that's in high school, a child that's in college, that has had to undergo training, active shooter training drills in school, who sends their children off to school, and now that dread, even if for a second, even if it's just for a second in the back of your head, will my child return home to me safely today? I have a grandson, that we send to school every day, and there are times when I think, oh my God, you always say not in this neighborhood. I never thought it could happen here. That's always the refrain that you hear when these things happen. There's a parent or there's a student who says, I never thought it could happen here. I never thought it could happen here. And I pray to God that we never have to have that. But I'm sure they all did the same thing. And so it's just horrendous, and I'm sickened by what's happened. Thoughts and prayers, I know we go through the routine of saying we offer our thoughts and prayers, but they need more than thoughts and prayers. They need action by local elected officials, by state officials, by federal officials, to do something to help mitigate this scourge of violence on our youth and on our families. So I just wanted to kind of get that out of my system, and I do offer my prayers to those families that are affected by this. I won't be so callous as to say that I will no longer pray for them or hold them in my prayers. I do that, but I do that with a heart full of regret and remorse that's all we've done so far is thoughts and prayers, and obviously thoughts and prayers are not sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Kunkel.
Yes, just two things. Sad, I'm gonna miss you here, sitting beside of me all the time. I can yell at you, I can sit there and go, I'm gonna vote. But no, it was great working with you, even though it hasn't been the 4 years. But on a better note, many of us in here have watched The Wizard of Oz. I'm leaving us all on a happy note, okay? Did you ever wonder how the Scarecrow, when he didn't have a brain, so how could he talk and walk and all that? But then, social media. I got social media, and I'm like, oh, it's the same thing. It's the exact same thing. So just think about it like that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Joe.
At least everybody laughed a little bit, chuckled maybe.
I'm still trying to follow your thought process, but thank. Oh. Okay. Thank you all. You were signaling to me, Juliana, anything? You had a thought?
We have
Pardon?
closed session.
Closed session. Oh, yes.
We will not be returning?
We will.
No.
Thank you.
I wanted to look at her to make sure. She says no.
I have a motion to go to executive section. Section 2C2, collective bargaining, and we will not be returning. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I'm gonna take a roll call.
Take a roll call, Rod. Christie?
Gotta go back up. Trustee Kunkel?
Yes.
Trustee Bancole?
Yes.
Trustee Frigie?
Yes.
Trustee Gutierrez?
Yes.
Trustee Porter?
Yes.
And for the final time, Trustee Husani.
Thank you. We have motion to adjourn?
Was it?
We just did that.
Oh, you got a motion to go to executive.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Here she comes with my 2 cents.